what do these tech layoffs mean for recent graduates? So if you haven't heard already, a lot of companies are doing mass layoffs, a lot of big tech companies, and a lot of the young people who just recently graduated last year or this year are now struggling to find a job in the tech space. So in this video, we'll be looking deeper into what these students can do if you are a recent graduate, what options you have, what you can do, and what are some of the resources available to you. So if you're new around here, my name is Rayyan Siddiqui. I work at Microsoft, and in this video, we'll be talking about tech layoffs and its impact on students or recent grads. So to give you guys a bit of context, I recently made a video on tech layoffs. I'm not sure if I'll post this one first or that one, but I'll link it in the description below, just explaining how this tech layoff stuff started, how it's going, and who is it impacting at its core. The people that the layoffs are impacting, I guess just a brief summary. So tech layoffs, a lot of companies experienced a rise in their business during the pandemic. Pandemic ended, everyone went offline, or most of a huge chunk of the population started doing things in person. A lot of these online businesses were not getting that much revenue. And during the time of the pandemic, they hired crazy amounts of people because they were pulling in crazy numbers, crazy revenues, to enhance their services, to expand their services. But what happened post-pandemic, a lot of these companies couldn't sustain that level of spending. They couldn't sustain giving that many people salaries because they weren't pulling that many numbers since stuff started being online. That contributed to a massive chunk of the tech population being laid off from companies. So companies like Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, a lot of these big companies, HP, Intel, Adobe, and there's almost every tech company laid off people. They were trying to shrink down their cost spending, and there's also a lot of other budget restrictions as well. But all in all, just a quick summary on the tech layoffs. But now, what does this mean for people who recently graduated? So if you are someone who recently finished university, what options do you have? If you are someone who finished university, say last year, 2 years ago, this year, and are looking for a job in the tech space, what do you do? Well, first, there's a good news and a bad news. The good news is that not all companies have stopped hiring. A lot of companies are still hiring compared to past recessions or past mass layoff periods where a lot of companies just stopped hiring or they were just constantly laying off people. This time around, there are companies who are still hiring, and there are a lot of companies that are doing investment in critical areas where they are looking for new people. One example I'll give is Microsoft. They recently invested in OpenAI, and they've started hiring people again into some of their teams that are going to be part of that venture. Now, this was just one example, but there are people who are hiring. That's the good news. The bad news is that now the competition is extremely severe because people who've been working in tech for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, even 20 years, if you find some LinkedIn posts of some people who've been working for so many years, who have a lot of industry experience, plus their educations, plus their academics, gotten laid off. Now they're looking for a job. So now if you're a recent graduate, you're not only competing against other graduates, you're competing against actual industry professionals or ex-professionals. Now, what does this mean for you? Well, this means that you have to do some super incredible stuff to stand out. That's number one. Number two is you need to realize that a job is, that's how you pay your bills, but you need to find other ways to generate money. Do it whether online businesses, do it set up an in-person businesses, but you need to do something else and not rely on getting a job fully. The third thing is that you need to realize that, since day one, the competition has been extremely severe. So you need to do stuff that is extremely, really unique. Try to come up with solutions to problems, try to create a product, try to create a game, or do some type of stuff that's going to make you stand out. Whether that's, academics, okay, a lot of people had good grades. That's nothing special. A lot of people there's a lot of people with a lot of projects that they worked on. So even if you have a lot of projects, that's still, it has value, but not in this context. Not a lot, at least. But what you can do is try to pick a problem, any problem. Think about it this way. The way you live your life, what's one tool on your phone or a website or anything that can make it better? Just one tool. Whether that's, I don't know, I have like just thinking on top of my head. You use a lot of social media. Well, try to create an app that whenever you open Instagram to watch those reels, or whenever you open TikTok, it automatically like blocks and says like, okay, take a breather. Or I don't know, just throwing out some ideas there, but just try to think of a tool that can help you with your life. That's one way. That's if you still want to look for the job avenue. The other, which is probably my recommendation, is like, job is a job. Job, you get money to do a task. You need to figure out like to build something for yourself. 10, 20 years you work for a company. I mean, sure, they value you. Your value goes up if you're a high performing employee. But it still isn't it. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's just a job. Like, you're working for someone else. Try to do something, like try to work for your own self. Learn online how to create online businesses. I actually have a video on 5 businesses that you can start that can help you generate $1,000 monthly passively, without a lot of effort. So I'll link it in the description below that you guys can check out. And other than that, honestly, I mean, I'm like, it's just a hard time. Like, I honestly don't know. I'm talking in the context of recent grads. Like, I honestly don't know much that people can do aside from like do some like super killer projects that are gonna stand out, or just like try to come up with their own businesses. Like, there isn't, because when there's a new job application like at Facebook for a software engineer, 1,000 people are gonna apply. Like 100 of them are like past employees of other big companies. They already have experience. So how are you gonna get selected? Like, recruiters, in my opinion, would always prefer people with high experience. But then again, you need to realize not all companies have stopped hiring, so there is still a possibility. So keep applying, keep sending those applications in. And now I think things are slowly, I mean, there have been massive layoffs, but things are starting to slowly get normal. I mean, not normal, but slowly heading there, as companies have started to hire back. And yeah, that's about it. Those are some of my thoughts for recent grads. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this whole situation. Like, put yourself in the shoes of someone who just recently graduated. Like, what do they do? Like, how do they find a job? Like, these were just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one.